Welcome, FNews57 here. Once again, I'm on the Xbox Series X. Today we're playing some Black Ops 6, and I'm bringing you another achievement guide. This time for The Puzzles Mason. It's a 30 gamer score rare achievement, and what you need to do is complete all safe house puzzles in the campaign. This is quite possibly the first campaign achievement that you could unlock. I didn't do it first because, well, the puzzle was driving me up a wall, and I kind of did it out of order and missed a couple of steps. So you can do this when you first come to the Rook. You can do this later when you come back to the Rook. It doesn't really matter, and you can do a couple of steps out of order. In short, we have to complete all of the puzzles, and it's not really an option to just give you the final code because it can change from playthrough to playthrough and person to person. There are two puzzles that you can do out of order, simply because right here there is a door that you can open that leads downstairs. And this door leads to technically the second puzzle. So I'm going to show you the first puzzle, and we'll actually do them in order. Now, the answer to each puzzle may not be the same, but this way you will know exactly how to do the puzzles. When you first start the game and you get to the Rook, you will have the option of coming into this little fireplace, say resting lounge room, and on this table you will find a black light that you can pick up. You can turn it on and off with left on the D-pad if you're on the Xbox, and then you'll see a bunch of little clues, mainly footprints. And you might not really think anything of them, as I found this puzzle by interacting with said piano, not really paying much attention to where the footprints came from. So for this puzzle, what we need to do is we need to use the black light, which can be toggled on and off, to read this code on the top of the piano. And basically, we have a few letters that don't really correspond to much of anything, except for the fact that they indicate keys, which is really weird. So what you want to do is use the black light to look around before we do the piano, and take note of the sequence and then the letters or symbols next to it. In my game, the first key is the 1, MN is the symbol, or what looks like MN, and then we'll kind of follow the arrows around. Number 2, we have like a PE above the fireplace, following it around to a number 3, CN on the wall. And if we keep following that around, we'll find another little arrow here next to the window, which will lead us to 4. Kind of looks like an A or a doorway, O, with an arrow leading down to what was the first sign that I actually found, which is our 5th key, again, the PE. So in my game, the code would be MNPECNAOPE. Unfortunately, that is not always the code. Alright, so the really annoying part here is just, well, everything. The game doesn't tell you how to move the piano key. In the case of my game, we are going to go with the left stick to move this slight orange indicator and the right stick to move the light, lining up with the symbols that we need. So it'll start with MN, then move over to PE, then go to CN, and then we need the like AO or door frame O, and then we need to go back to PE. If you have entered the code correctly, you will notice that this door right here that leads down into the basement is now open. Unfortunately, that won't really do you much good because the area will not be powered on. In order to power on that area, you need to go back to the main lobby, open this door right here that will lead to the basement, and then go down into the basement where you will find your second puzzle. You can do this puzzle first, it doesn't matter. It's just technically this is your second puzzle for restarting the generator. As you can see, I have already done that puzzle, but I will explain what you need to do and then just show you real quick. If you first interact with this form, it will pretty much tell you exactly what you need to do. But again, some of the needles can be different. In most players' games, the boiler should be spewing water, and the gas pressure may be indicated right here with the needle at 50. If so, you can leave it alone. In the case of my game, the pressure was too high. So I'm just going to share that game clip with you so you know exactly what you need to do. Again, like I said in my game, the fuel pressure was too high, but you want to first turn off the water twice. So you'll interact with this dial twice to turn it fully off, and then your gas to 50%, the pilot light, and then the water 2 times. If done correctly, you'll get that little musical chime and no longer be able to interact with any of the things there in the game. So most people have reported that all they needed to do was interact with the water to bring the gauge all the way to the 0, then interact with the pilot light, and then the water 2 more times. I'm not entirely sure why my game, the gas was way overpressured, but in case the gas is overpressured, you know what you need to do. It needs to be right there, right at the 50% mark in order to fully ignite. Once you have done that, you can go back upstairs, and now technically the little secret room is going to have the power on, so we can go to the 3rd puzzle. Once we go down here, I do recommend again that you have the black light, and you'll be able to open this door into this bunker-ish room, which now, of course, has power. That's fantastic. And the next area that we'll have to go to is going to be a keypad combo. Just as a word of warning, this bunker can seem very confusing. However, you can kind of tell by the colored lines where you need to go, and there will only be one door that has a keypad. You'll get this little decryption tutorial pop-up that basically tells you what you need to do, and again, if you have your black light, it's pretty easy to tell what you need. So obviously, the numbers with black light that reveal a fingerprint on them are going to be the numbers that are mostly used. And of course, there's a few fakes thrown in here along the way. So what you want to do is you want to use the right stick to control the black light and the left stick again to select the numbers. Just enter any of the numbers that have a fingerprint on them to start with. It doesn't really matter what you pick. Just go ahead and enter those. So we'll go ahead and hit enter, and then you're going to get differing numbers. Now, if it is red on this right-hand side in the decryption log, it's a number that's not used. If it's yellow, it is a number that's used, just in the wrong position, and of course, green is correct. So we can go ahead and change this up. So I've got all correct numbers, but they are in the incorrect order. Each time you enter a code, you do have to navigate to the unlock icon and hit enter. Now this may take you several tries, so just kind of be aware of what numbers you've used in what spots, and you may have to play around with it. It's entirely possible that the number is used multiple times, so just bear that in mind. So for instance, right here on my code, and again, this changes from playthrough to playthrough, 3 is in the correct spot, but 5 is not correct, and then 5 is correct, and 5 is not correct. So just keep playing with this till you get all green numbers, and you'll be good to go. Upon finally guessing the correct combination and placement of letters, which don't worry too much, if you get too many incorrect attempts, it will automatically reset, but at least it won't lock you out permanently. Then you can enter this room here where we will have a computer hack that we have to do. This one will give you a little bit of a tutorial, so to speak, and it's honestly pretty easy because you're given a code word and a cipher. So up at the top will be a series of numbers in code word, and underneath there will be a large list of characters versus code, and you simply need to type in the correct corresponding letters. Upon finishing one correct section, you'll be given another code word moving down in the code, and once again repeat the exact same process. This can be different for each playthrough and each person, just bear that in mind. Upon hacking that computer terminal, we'll get a little unlock. You can grab the extra intel if you really wish to. It doesn't really do anything. And now we are going to have to go proceed to what was the locked room in order to actually get ourselves a nice, tasty little key. Of course, it's never just as easy as entering the room, because we actually have to go through a 3-pin lockpick. And this one's a little bit of a pain in the ass to do, not gonna lie, so it might take a couple of tries. Once we lockpick our way into that room, in the torture room, there is a key. Again, you can explore if you want to, then proceed back outside to the main junction with the keypad door, except instead of going back in, we're going to turn and go down to where we have another door and we have a weak radio signal. at which point we can use the key to unlock the door. Again, there's some more intel that you can pick up if you want. It's really not necessary. And we need to tune the radio. Now, it's very important that once you tune the radio, you either have a pen and paper or something that you can use to go ahead and make notes, because we will be given a code that we need to remember. This tuning of the radio is very easy. All you do is use one thumbstick to move the right dial until the light turns green, and the other thumbstick to move the left dial till the light turns green. Alright, so basically after we tune the radio, it's going to play a message on repeat. And honestly, I got a really annoying one that doesn't make any sense. But what you're going to have to do is match the keywords to items in the room. And it's different on different playthroughs and for different people, so you might get an easier one. If you got a different combination than me, feel free to post it in the comment section, because you could just try random combinations if you wanted to. But mine is really annoying because we don't have any item that corresponds to cereal. The closest combination I have would be 6, which is iron, or at least the closest thing I can come to iron. It's either 6 or 4, because we have an ironing board, but that wouldn't cause a curtain to catch fire, whereas the heater would cause a curtain to catch fire. And then curtain probably is our 0, even though there's multiple numbers that correspond to 0. So that's one thing that could happen. And then we have 3 as our TV, and I honestly don't know what the sugar-coated cereal corresponds to. So I looked all over my room here, and I can't find anything that sugar-coated cereal would correspond to as far as a keyword goes. And there's not much that can be done about that, so we're going to try a couple of different combinations. Once you've spent enough time in this room and you know what your combination is, then we're going to go back to the main area and go all the way upstairs. And then we'll have to put that combination into a safe. Once we exit the secret room, we're going to go back into the main area, find the staircase. There's actually 2 staircases that we can use. Go down the hallway, and then there's 2 different doors you can go in to find this small 1 bedroom with a safe in the corner. And this is where we will enter the corresponding numbers for whatever code you had. And hopefully you got an easier code than I did. There we go. And there is our nice sexy achievement. If you don't get the in-game pop-up, remember, simply go to the official club and take a look in the official club, because the pop-ups are sometimes delayed. So it is a bit of a guessing game, but if you have the exact same audio line that I have, then you can just go ahead and use the same code that I used. They do mix it up a lot, but it's just honestly one of those really hard to find things. Usually the cereal, I believe, will correspond to 7. But again, if you find a different code that works for you, feel free to leave it in the comment section, ideally with a bit of the dialogue that other players can use to match up what they're missing. But that's how you go about getting all of the puzzles done. If you have any questions, leave a comment. I'll do my best to help you out. Till next time, my brothers and sisters, thy legion, stay frosty.